Hey readers, we have been thinking a lot about characters as we read our books. We know that characters are the most important part of a story. Today I want to teach you that readers pay close attention to the characters and main events in the story. Readers can do this by tracking big events in a story and then thinking about what the character is doing during those events. This helps readers to really think about and understand the story. Watch me as I try this in Pedro's Mystery Club. The first thing I'm going to do is think about and track the big events that happen in this chapter. The first big event is that Pedro starts a mystery club, and Pedro's mom asks them to help her find a locket. Pedro, Katie, and Jojo trace her steps to find it. I'm going to write that down and put that on the timeline as the first big event. Here's my timeline, and here is the first big event that happens in this chapter. So as we look back through the chapter, we're going to jot down the big events, and we're going to add them to the timeline. So on this page, Pedro is excited to start the search. He asks questions and makes a plan. I'm going to add that to the timeline. The next big event in this chapter came when Pedro got a clue from his friend Jane. As they were retracing his mom's steps, he asked Jane, was she wearing her locket? Jane said no. So they went home. They thought the locket was there. Then Pedro's dad asked him to find his phone. I'm going to add that to our timeline. So now we have three big events that have happened in this chapter so far. Starts a mystery club. His mom asks him to help her find her locket. They retrace her steps. He asks questions. He makes a plan. Then they get another clue and go back to the house because they think the locket is there. Pedro's dad asked him to help him find his phone. Oh, it's your turn to try. What are the other big events that happen in this chapter that we can track? Turn and tell your buddy. Good job, readers. Did you say Pedro is determined to find the locket and the phone, but he can't? And him and his friends take a break and they play soccer, but the soccer ball went under the bushes. And when Pedro went to get the ball, he found his mom's locket. Let's keep going. How did Pedro feel about finding his mom's locket? Turn and tell your buddy. Good job, readers. Did you say he's surprised and he's proud that he found the necklace? Then what happened? What was the next big event that happened? Turn and tell your buddy. Good job, readers. Did you say Pedro and his friends went up to the tree house to think, and then they heard a bird chirping, but it wasn't a bird, it was his dad's phone. They climbed down and found his dad's phone in the grass. Now let's look at our timeline. Wow, readers, look how we track the big events in this chapter. Pedro and his friends took a break, and then he found his mom's locket when his ball landed in the bushes. He was surprised and proud that he found his mom's necklace. Then Pedro and his friends heard birds chirping. It was his dad's phone. Pedro was excited to find his dad's phone. Readers, do you see how we first thought about the big events in the story and then we went back and described the main character during these events? We did this by thinking about the actions and feelings of the main character. Describing events and characters in the stories we read is an important part of understanding our reading. As you go off today and read your stories, remember that you can think about the big events that happen in the story and how would you describe those events? How would you describe the main character? You can write down some thoughts on a timeline as you are reading to help you keep track of all your great thinking.